That's a very good question. Who knows? I think part of the problem is that really nobody knows what he thinks about foreign policy because he hasn't thought a great deal about foreign policy. He's more of a businessman. He's had a lot of business experience, but not a lot of strategic experience. So we'll see. I think he's picked a national security advisor in General Flynn, who seems to be more open and somewhat sympathetic to the Russians. And certainly we're going to see a change of tone at the beginning of the administration from what we have seen under the Obama administration. Again, those are big questions. I think he definitely is not that interested in Ukraine, and I think he's made it pretty clear that this is not an area that he thinks is vital to American interests. And I think he wouldn't say it publicly, but I think he believes this is more part of the Russian neighborhood and Russian sphere. So I think that's a problem for Ukraine, and I think they know that. On Syria, he's going to be conflicted. He has a strong feeling that he and Putin are on the same side in counterterrorism. On the other hand, he's also very concerned about Iran and Iran's role. And so he'll be very conflicted, I think, on Syria, and he'll have a lot of resistance to working with the Russians from the U.S. military as well. Well, I think he's going to have to make it a point to show that he's a supporter of NATO. I think that's he can't tear down everything, and NATO is very important to the United States. So I think he will make his argument that the Europeans have to spend more on defense, and I think he will make a very strong case, and I think the Europeans might take this more seriously now than they did before. So I think you'll see a lot of emphasis on that, on sort of burden sharing. But I think that the core NATO states will remain a core of U.S. foreign policy. I think the issue will be more in the gray areas in the Russian neighborhood, which are not part of NATO. But I think NATO itself will still be fairly important to the U.S. and U.S. security.